Hey, another video in the drawing series. I linked this video to the person it's a picture of, and let me say again, drawing isn't, haven't done much of it, especially in the last few years, so these aren't great. So I guess, for this video I'll just I'll try to keep it lighter than the usual commentary that goes with the video. Sometimes it's kind of dark, and I don't want to impose, some sort of dark subject. But the whole general subject of art, even, it's kind of it's too bad. I mean, the world has sort of changed. Some of it's good because technology has made art so much easier to create. I mean, there's some great stuff that's done, with computers and just a digital algorithm, and it pops out stuff that you say, that has a whole mood to it, that has a whole character to it, and so the artist is becoming very different. There's all kinds of ways for it to be expressed, and it's just kind of strange to have art connected with a computer, because computers are so random, or anti what we think we are in terms of personality and whatnot, and it sort of demonstrates that there's a mechanics to it, that some of what artists do is just a mechanical process, and then part of it is an expression. I guess I was always stuck in just trying to do art that was just a representation of something that existed, and I didn't do the poetic part of art, much of it anyway, of trying to add or trying to manipulate the character of reality to make a message, or to send a message, or to tell a story. So maybe someday I'll get to that. I guess I never felt competent enough and comfortable enough to go there, and I guess you sort of you're always insecure. I mean, art, it's hard to be secure and be an artist, because you just don't know when you run out, when you've got something, when you don't have something, and you're so dependent on the market, and what gets validated by what sells and what doesn't sell. And when I was trying to sell art, you're always trying to find something that people will buy. It's you always find these niche markets, and so people have asked me to show some of the art I've done before, and so I figured I'd do some of it, and so I got pictures of stuff. But I used to try to do functional art, art that would serve two purposes. It'd be art, but you could also use it for something. So I did a lot of painting on things, furniture. Did a lot of sweatshirts, t-shirts, pillows. So this is a lion picture I did on a pillow, and it's not bad, and it was kind of a nice challenge to do work on these fabrics, because you really had to improvise to get it right, because the texture was so demanding in some ways, because the flaws in the fabric and different things, you really couldn't. It just took some practice. This was a mailbox I did of a sea turtle, so this was pretty cool. The other side was actually the same turtle but made out of wood, and it was kind of neat too. This is just a table I did. It was a sewing table or something. Let's see if I can get this so you can see it without all this glare. But it's just hibiscus and hummingbirds. But it came out kind of nice. This one I was kind of proud of, because it was done on a black sweatshirt, and it came out pretty good considering the material it's on. It's very hard to get tones and shades right when you're, it's not very, you can't use a lot of paint, because you want to keep it so the material, it doesn't have that stiff feel to it, so you're you're trying to use the minimum amount of paint, and so it gets a little tricky. This is something I did on a t-shirt, and I was also thought this was pretty good because it had a lot of detail. And t-shirts, you know, it's a crappy, just a regular t-shirt, and so it, you know, it's pretty thin fabric, and so it's pretty hard to get detail like that on a t-shirt. So I did 2 or 3 of these for one guy, so they came out pretty good. This is an old horse picture. I do better horses now, but they sort of sold people. A lot of people like horses, but you know, I could never really make enough money on one of these, you know, because people are used to paying, you know, $15 for a t-shirt, you know, and so you got a hand painted one, they might pay you $30 for it, but you know, you really can't make any money, you know, when you consider the work it takes to paint it and then the work it takes to sell it. So that was on a sweatshirt too. And this was another one I thought came out really good. Did a few of these on a sweatshirt. These elephants, they were pretty good. Because like I said, I didn't use much paint, and so it was still very soft, texture wise. But they came out really good. So I did a lot of these little boxes and stuff. So these are just some of the boxes I did. You know, just scenery kind of things. Just this little waterfall and river thing. And this is a hummingbird. You know, I mean, I thought the nature stuff was sort of, you know, generic. I figured people will go for that, you know, but didn't really. Obviously, didn't sell too much of this stuff, as I'm still have it here, and this is like I painted this 10 years ago. You know, it's a little koala bear one. This was kind of interesting. It's kind of nice. Yeah, I painted it to match the Australian colors and stuff, and it's okay. This is, you know, I'm an atheist, but it's a little angel girl thing, you know. Like I say, you just kind of painted whatever you figure you might be able to sell. So I always like this one. This is one of my favorites. This box came out pretty good. It's a little deer on it here. You know, I always like that one. And yeah, this is just a, you know, kind of a, whatever you'd call it. I don't know what you call that style of whatever. It's you know, not abstract, but it's, you know, impressionist or whatever. And I guess that's all the stuff I got sitting right here. So yeah, I did do a sculpture. So I got a few of those around. This one was kind of neat. It had a person on one side and a lion on the other side. A little pedestal sits on, you see. Oh, it's kind of interesting. And I like doing that stuff. But the other problem is I'm also really cheap, and so I never did anything big. I just always do little stuff because I'm too cheap. I don't like to pay for paint. I don't like to have to pay for clay and stuff. You know, it ends up costing a lot of money, and I'm cheap. And so I did do some oil painting and stuff, but that's another thing where, you know, you really got to buy all the colors, and you got to get the right brushes and stuff to do it right, and canvases and all that stuff. And so you really have to make some money doing it to make it worth it. You know, you got to have some way to finance the art, to make the art. And yeah, because everything doesn't come out right either. You know, some things come out right, 1 in 3. I don't know, 50%. I don't know how often you get it right, but you know, so you got to be able to afford to make mistakes and to have failures. So anyway, yeah. So let's see, what else can I say about art? It's about beauty, I guess. It's about what, or and even that's a strange subject, because beauty is about what pleases you, but it's also about what inspires you, or inspires a mood in you, or a feeling. And obviously, very tragic and sad things can be beautiful, because the message is so pure or so clean. And then there can be that combination where something can have great beauty, and it can also have a very tragic message, and it can, you know, you can say a lot more than just one thing. It depends on what you're looking for, or what you allow yourself to see. And you know, there's just so many things you can do. I mean, you know, a picture does, you know, it's more than 1,000 words. You know, pictures can be worth a book, novels. It can be, the story can be as detailed and as interesting and as articulate as your own imagination or your own receptiveness is to it. And it's an interesting way to communicate. It's a different, you know, it's always going to be imperfect, imprecise.